going on, everybody? Welcome to the Friday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we do what? Set oppression in place. That is correct. I am so glad, so appreciative, and happy that you guys made some time to kick it with your homie today. Got a good show in store for you, everybody, as I try to do, as we attempt to do week in and week out here on the BIDWKB platform. Hey, big up to everyone that's maybe watching us in a different location. Of course, always love to the Fire Fam that is in the live chat right now. Shout out to the people them on Twitch. We don't. I fucked up the Facebook stream. My bad, Facebook. I got to reconnect that broadcast stream. But if you're watching us on Twitter, hello, we appreciate that. At Burn It Down KB on Twitter, at BIDWKB on Twitch, and of course the mothership, I suppose, here on YouTube. We appreciate the Fire Fam joining us all the time. Hi, Shirley. I'm so glad that you guys are here. So a couple of quick things. Peace, infinite content. Infinite content. Why are you asking us? Are we gonna talk about the Janelle Monet video? Listen, I clicked on the trending topic and I just read the tweets about, with all the gifs, the gifts, whatever, of, niggas drooling and eyes popping out of their head, etc. I haven't actually seen the video yet, but I don't doubt for a second that Janelle Monet is making the man dem and the women dem to salivate all over themselves. She's been a hot potato for quite some time. I know she was rocking that tux and the whatever the fuck the bouffant shit, but don't don't mistake us occasional modest ladies. Like, we got a little something under all them layers. Like, I'm not a body shower offer per se, but when I decide to, it's usually gets met with some nice reviews. Let's put it that way. So anyway, no, we're not talking about the Janelle Monae video, infinite content, to long-windedly answer your question, but we are going to be talking about several things. I kind of even have some good fucking news for once. Found some good news. A county in a blue state did a progressive thing by forgiving tens of millions of dollars of medical debt for its residents. Why this is a positive first step and how it is simultaneously woefully liberally lacking in any substance, though it is a good intention action, we can say. I've got that coming up later. Also, one of the more prominent members of the Black Miss Leadership class was utterly disrespected at a commencement ceremony where they were speaking. You guys already might know who I'm talking about. We're gonna look at that and laugh. We gonna do that one for shits and gigs. But before I get started, let me acknowledge our good brother Will. Will is the gentleman who pushes the buttons behind the scenes for us. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and Will is a teacher of youths, of kids, of baby dems. And Will does an amazing job. There's not many Black men who are teachers, certainly not many Black men who are also art teachers. So I wanted to acknowledge Will for his love and dedication to the profession of shaping young minds and making their artistic dreams come to fruition, and encouraging their creativity, etc. So shout out to Will and all the educators for Teacher Appreciation Week, and it's Nurses Appreciation Week too. And I know we have a couple of nurses. Big up to Tina Lulu Mac. That's a confirmed nurse. I know. I know Tina Lulu is a nurse too. So if you are also a medical professional, a nurse, happy Nurses Appreciation Week. Now, pay the fucking nurses and the fucking teachers. Would y'all rather have an appreciation week, or would you rather have your salaries doubled and tripled? Alrighty, I can hear the answers coming through the screen. I already know the answer to that. So anyway, I wanted to say that real quick. So thank you all for coming in. Please give the video a like and a thumbs up. Is that Shanette? Hey, Shanette. Hey, what's going on, Wendy? Hey, Spin Cycle Dragon. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Donnie. Appreciate you making time, baby. There's Holly, because where there's Wendy, there's Holly. I have my speculations. I'm just playing with you guys. Who else is in here? Shout out to our mods. Big up always to Courtney and Latif. And special shout out going down to Chuck Diesel as well. Big up to my brother Pookie Wood. Pookie Wood's one of our OGs. I haven't shouted out Pookie Wood in a while, and there's no particular reason. Pookie Wood, I'm just, simple. What's up to Damien Stoner Loner, and the rest of our UK contingent? Ursula, I haven't seen Ursula in here in a while. I'd like to see Ursula in here. That would be nice. And of course, my son Tyler, uh, my niece Alicia. Thank you all so much for being in the spot and hanging out with your folks. Appreciate it, appreciate it. So obviously, let me get started with some of the big news, because we've been following this story since it broke a week and a half ago, pertaining to the murder of 30-year-old Jordan Neely, who was choked to death by, I can only deduce, by a madman or someone who was bloodthirsty and felt the need to, I can't say even take the law into their own hands, because Jordan wasn't breaking any laws. This person just decided to choke the shit out of a person experiencing a mental health crisis on a public train. And that's where we are. Will, let's run that footage. So today, at the it was announced, well, let me rephrase, I think it was announced yesterday, yes, that the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg would be bringing charges against that piece of shit right there, 24-year-old Daniel Penny, also a former Marine, also clearly a very dangerous and unhinged person, who is clearly leading to and contributing to the rise in violent crime on the streets of New York City, as he felt it was his duty somehow to choke the life out of someone who was being loud on a train, someone who threw his jacket down. Yeah. This is the kind of madness that permeates the streets of the United States. And murder is very common in the US, and truthfully, throughout the overwhelming history of this country, it has not been against the law for a white person to murder a black person, especially if that white person claims that they were in fear of their life. That's almost carte blanche, pun intended there. That's the carte blanche to take the life of a person of African descent, because white people felt scared. But in a shocking, I will call this shocking turn of events, that this person has now been charged with second degree murder. That is Daniel Penny, facing second degree, I'm sorry, I said murder. I meant to say manslaughter. My apologies. Second degree manslaughter charges. Very important distinction there. Second degree manslaughter. I believe the statute in New York requires, for second degree manslaughter, for the prosecution to prove that Daniel Penny was reckless in his actions, that he knew in advance that his actions would lead to the death of Jordan Neely. And as someone who's been reported to be a trained ex-Marine, though I am curious why he is an ex-Marine. Yeah, anyway, I'll get to that in a second. Uh, Without question, he should have known that placing a chokehold and sustaining, what did they call it? A a naked back, a naked neck chokehold. It has a name. My apologies for not being able to call the name. It doesn't even fucking matter what the name is. He applied it in a way that he was trained to do. And without a doubt, he had to have been aware that keeping that chokehold on Jordan's neck for that duration of time would ultimately result in Jordan's death. So I think the district attorney has grounds for the second degree manslaughter. I mean, I don't know what the statute is for first degree manslaughter. I don't exactly see how this could not be that, or even second degree murder, really. So this sounds undercharged, but in cases previous to these, where we have seen unarmed black men either be murdered by vigilantes or outright by the police, sometimes these prosecutors will apply the most harshest of charges, which therefore makes it a higher burden for them to prove in a court, and we know even juries are very reluctant, some of them, to convict scared white folks or piggish police who claim to be in fear of their life. Juries are sometimes reluctant to convict these individuals for murdering black folks, especially those who were unarmed. I can't even say anything else about it. I mean, it's a very sad state of affairs. So we'll see what happens with these charges. Daniel Penny was released on a $100,000 bond, and his next court appearance is slated to be in July. And what's interesting about, well, I say interesting, and I feel like almost interesting is like a crutch word, because is it really interesting? Or is it significant, or is it a better word besides interesting? That we're good on that. Will we? That's enough of that devil. There has been so much reporting about Jordan. There is the intentional smearing of Jordan's character. There is the misrepresentation of his mental illness. There has been extensive reporting about his criminal history. Not so much about Daniel Penny. Haven't seen. All I know about him is that he's 24 years old and he's an ex-Marine. I'd like to know more. There was rumors that he actually was the son of a New York City police department. I've seen some reports disputing that, so I have not been able to confirm that particular fact. But we know all about Jordan. We know all about the victim. And the smearing of the victim has been what's going on. Well, that's enough of him. That's enough of Daniel. Thank you so much. Um, there's a couple things that I wanted to get into surrounding this latest development in the charging of Daniel Penny. First of all, District Attorney Alvin Bragg did not just charge him. I mean, he did, but he didn't. He was going to take this case to a grand jury, but instead decided to just go ahead and charge Penny with second-degree manslaughter. If I keep saying murder, I think it's because clearly I think he should have been charged with murder, but the correct charge here is manslaughter, second-degree manslaughter. I'm sorry, the stated charge. It's not the correct charge, it's the stated charge. But I keep transposing manslaughter and murder because I think he should have been charged with murder. But if it was not for the good folks in New York City, our comrades out there turning the fuck up at the subway stations in front of Alvin Bragg's office in Manhattan, on the streets of New York, if these people had not been turning up for the past 11 days, I assure you there would not be charges here. In fact, the same rhetoric echoed from Eric Adams, the mayor, to the governor, Kathy Hochul, to others in the right wing, especially the right wing sphere, about Daniel Penny being a hero. They would still be rocking with that narrative if the folks in New York hadn't got out there and turned up. But of course, when you stand in opposition to white supremacist vigilante murder, which is endorsed and backed by the American police state, which is an extension of the American military state, the police are not going to be accommodating to those who stands in oppositions to those things. And at two separate vigils over the past several days that were held for Jordan Neely, the New York Police Department showed up and brought violence. When the mainstream outlets report and say an vigil for the victim, Jordan Neely, turned violent, it turned violent because the cops showed up and started physically harassing and antagonizing people. Anytime there is a protest, y- 9 times out of 10, the protests are peaceful until the pigs get there. The main people who caused the violence in the first place. But I wanted to take a look at some of those scenes. And let me give a content warning, everybody, for police violence, police brutality. We are going to see, even, I believe, a couple of journalists be detained by NYPD while they were there covering these vigils for Jordan Neely. One of these videos or a couple of these videos. Well, I'm trying to credit the journalists here. Let me credit to Talia Jane, independent journalist, and also to Scootercaster NY. These folks do an outstanding job of covering protest scene. I know Talia, I think she's an East Coaster. She covers shit in New York and DC, and big up to Scootercaster as well. They're always there. Jane's on the spot. I wouldn't say Johnny's. I don't know if they're Johnny's. I don't think they're Johnny's, but the people them on the spot. So yeah. So these videos were shot by Scootercaster NY and by Talia Jane. And again, content warning for police violence and police brutality. As the people that came out to mourn Jordan Neely themselves were traumatized and brutalized by the police state. Let's take a look.
Yo, watch your back! They're not going to silence me today. They're not going to silence me today. This is illegal. Hold strong. Look how brutal these pigs are. Look how brutal these pigs are. Look how brutal these pigs are.
Fuck out of here. You caused all the problems. This shit was over.
This is so fucking horrible. Why?
No, I saw you come closer.
Shame! Shame!
GHC, GLA 794. Government corporate. Y'all work for us.
Back it up right now. Back up. Back up. Back up.
Bro,
Get down.
hold me back. Hold me back. My back. Bro,
Everyone's got to get out of the street. Come on.
Let's go. Back up.
Out of the street right now.
all right, go ahead.
Oh my God! What are you doing? What are you doing?
Back up. John, it's me.
I wasn't doing nothing.
Back it up.
Come on. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, come back.
Guys, get back.
He's bleeding. Oh my God, he's bleeding.
chilling with fucking Daniel.
We hate you.
Bitch ass cops.
You pieces of shit. We fucking hate you.
It's never not upsetting, right? And I mean, you guys know that there are certain things that I won't show here, but there are things that I will show, and I will show the police attacking mourners, attacking people who have assembled for a vigil, not even for a protest, for a vigil, for a remembrance of life. That wasn't the protest. That wasn't the charge this individual, charge Daniel Penny. That wasn't what we just saw. We saw people who showed up to pay their respects to a member of their community, Jordan Neely. And what did the police do? They showed up to crack fucking skulls. That's exactly what they did. I definitely encourage you to follow those two journalists. You can follow Talia Jane at Twitter, on Twitter at Talia OTG, Talia OTG, and Scooter Caster NY is exactly how it sounds. Scooter Caster NY. They're doing a brilliant job of bringing these very difficult scenes to us. Peace, peace, infinite content. Thank you so much for your super chat support. Yup. Did I say $9 million? Infinite Content says, Jesus fucking Christ, didn't New York City just have to pay out $9 million last month for police brutality during the George Floyd protest in 2020? All cops are bastards. Absolutely, Infinite, but you know they factor that into the budget. The brutality settlements, the lawsuits, the legal fees, the expenses, the paid administrative leave for the officers, all that shit's factored into that $10 billion budget, man. That's just the cost of doing business for New York City taxpayers. The people have to pay out lawsuits if they even get to the point where they can be resolved with money, with material compensation. It's a fucking mess. Nawada, you see it. It's wild. Talia Jane, that is, reported that Jordan Neely's funeral service will be held on May the 19th, and members of the public are welcome to attend. If you also find on Talia's Twitter page a link to the GoFundMe, she was able to verify that GoFundMe for Jordan Neely was set up by his aunt Carolyn. It is legitimate. So if you feel compelled to support the Neely family in that way, you can find that information on GoFundMe. I think it actually specifies his aunt Carolyn, but Talia was able to verify that that is legitimate and will go to benefit Jordan's family. I think they set a goal of 75,000, and when I checked it earlier today, it was at 60,000. So I wanted to mention that. So, but what I find so typical and predictable and so telling about all of this is, and I don't bring the right wing commentary on here to show you, be like, oh, look at what this right wing asshole said, look what that one said, but I read the shit, and it just so offends my entire sensibilities. Congressperson Matt Gaetz, that alleged pedophile from Florida, he made it a point today on his Twitter to make a video in defense of Daniel Penny and said that he is contributing to Daniel Penny's legal defense because Daniel Penny was a hero. He called him a true American for standing up against violent thugs, violent criminal elements. And it's just amazing to me what white mainstream America considers to be violence from Black people. It's wild. I told y'all the story last week. I'm not going to tell it again, but an incident that I had where I was speaking in my proper people voice and the white man told me not to be aggressive. I said, the fuck? Like, Black people can't move certain ways. Black people can't elevate their voices above certain decibels and can't speak in certain tones lest you be quickly labeled as aggressive or violent or attitudinal or nasty or a bunch of things. And these things I don't think that they legitimately make white people afraid, but they use it as an excuse. Because Jordan was allegedly behaving erratically and supposedly making threats and was yelling about how hungry he was and how thirsty and tired he was. If there is a black person in proximity of a white supremacist follower, they will feel entitled, and as we keep hearing this word ballied about, the duty bound to put that black person in their place. Because those displays of anger, frustration, or in Jordan's case, mental health crisis is just unacceptable in civil society. And this the ease of the disregard of Jordan's humanity. Matt Walsh repeatedly referred to Jordan Neely as a vagrant, just the ultimate dehumanization, that just because this person is poor, this person is unhoused, this person has experienced lifetime of trauma and unchecked mental illness, that is reason enough to disregard him. That is reason enough for a person like Daniel Penny to remove this undesirable from the ranks of society. So many of these right-wing fucking Klansmen online really are saying that Daniel Penny did a service is how they're characterizing it. And it's just, this is why I have an empathy gap sometimes when white people get fucked up. And I recognize it as wrong. It's wrong for me to feel that way. But it's in response to what I see in the reverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of this smearing of Jordan Neely's character surrounding his criminal history, they don't recognize that. They, the white supremacists, of course, but they don't recognize that as the the outward displays, the manifestations of his mental illness. If he's yelling at people or whatever, I don't even know what the fuck he was arrested for. It doesn't even matter to me what he was arrested for. The point is, all of his criminal background is a result of his untreated mental illness. And I even saw some right-wing commentary pointing the finger at at Jordan's aunt, at his father. Well, where were they when their son needed help? Why was they waited till their son died before they cared? This entire country, this whole system is a failure. It's an epic fucking failure. If you are in poverty, good luck getting regular health care, let alone mental health care. You know what I'm saying? It's hard out here for people to truly survive on their own. I don't know if Jordan's surviving family members are New York City residents, but we are seeing the mass exodus of generational black and brown New Yorkers being driven out because of gentrification. That is violence. Jordan is probably unhoused because his family lost their place to live, right? Because the rent's being driven up. The cost of living is exorbitant. The cost of food, transportation, housing, exorbitant everywhere, but especially in New York. So who was actually supposed to help him? Well, if we actually lived in a country that cared about people, particularly vulnerable, poor people, marginalized people, there would have been systems in place to help catch him. And again, I don't know what the inception of the trauma was for Jordan and for Jordan's family, but the fact that his mother was murdered by his stepfather, and Jordan, as a youngster, as a child, was witness to a lot of that domestic violence and to a lot of that abuse. It's I just shake my head in disbelief that these fucking racist assholes on the right just don't have no compassion for us. None. Like, we're not people at all. We're not people at all. They can recognize the mental health crisis in their communities. They can recognize the opioid crisis even in some cases, even the gun violence crisis in their own communities. But when it comes to us, oh, we're just lazy. We just don't try. We're just out of control. We just need to be brought to heel. We just need discipline. We just need longer prison sentences. We just need more police. Like, it's all this punitive shit for us. And how come we're not? Sometimes I'm truly at a loss for words for the amount of disregard for life in this country. Maybe it's not just particular to America, but I think the way that America does indifference to humanity is particularly sinister and cold. And the way that it does that directly towards Black people and brown people, as we're seeing right now at the border with Title 42. I mean, god damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, you only see me as human if I'm white, huh? You only recognize the humanity in immigrants if they're fucking Ukrainian, huh? And this place claims to be founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Not even fucking close. Well, hold on. I got a little something for you. Sticking with this, and the reason I separated this particular clip out is because it was posted by a right wing account. So them motherfuckers is not trusted news sources at all. And the way that they presented this particular clip obviously is very different than the way that I'm going to present it. So I wanted to I didn't want to include it in our montage because I wanted to preface it with the fact that this was posted to some right wing fucking shit. I don't even know if the shit was shot in recent protests in New York over the past week and a half pertaining to Jordan Neely's murder. But the vibe, but the vibe of the clip, I'm rocking with this shit. Check this out. This is apparently a member of the New York City Police Department being told all about theyself by some righteous bruvs on the streets. Let's take a look.
That's what they do, pussy. That's what they do, nigga. Do something. Do something, nigga. That's what time it is. Just the time it is, nigga. I make them niggas pack your dumb ass up. I'm gonna make them pack you up, nigga. Watch it. Watch it. Pussy. That's right. That's right, nigga. Don't touch it, nigga. It's that time, nigga. It's that time, pussy. Let that white man get away. Let the white man walk out the door and then choke that one of yours. Huh? Oh, he ain't one of yours, right? He ain't one of yours, but that white man wasn't either. He wasn't blue.
Yo, he just followed orders, dog. That's all he
wasn't
does.
blue, nigga. He wasn't blue. If you gonna do something for black people, at least get the killer, nigga. If you gonna do something for black people, get the killer, nigga. Get the killer. Yo, y'all let him walk in the gate. Hey, you ain't mad, nigga. Hey, do you feel like an idiot with that shit on? Because the blood is still on your hands, pussy. Y'all let him walk out the door, pussy. Y'all let him walk out the door, nigga. Yeah.
My guy asked him, do you feel like an idiot with all that shit on? Dog. Hold on. Let me read y'all the quote from or at least the tweet. Because of course, the right wing account saw that exchange a little differently than I did, right? And it says a protester freshly taunts and harasses a New York City police officer over the death of hashtag Jordan Neely. Pussy or something, nigga. And they they put a star, an asterisk for the I in nigga, for whatever reason. And it said, if I was that officer, I would have dropped him. Yeah. Well, he didn't. He got that cussing. He took that cussing. And couple of things. Can I big up both sides right there for different reasons? Okay, clearly the brother's there. I said, is that Minister Server? I said, who is that? Big up Minister Server. It sounded just like Minister Server. I said, who is that cussing out that police fan? I said, well, first of all, or I'm sorry, let me hit him with what the kids do. Yep. All that for that exquisite, eloquent cursing of that black man in that NYPD uniform, sir. Protect and serve who? Right. Got all up in his shit. He deserved it, right? But I also got to give it to the cop. The cop just took that cussing. Like he took that cussing as he should have. Like what the fuck else? I mean, sir, are these men lying to you? Are they lying on you? Are they lying about you? I didn't detect no lies. Did y'all? That man didn't look like a pussy. Even though I don't like to use pussy in that way, because y'all know how I feel about pussy as a pejorative, because pussy is strong out here. And what do we like to say instead, everybody? Soft as scrotum skin. Yes, because scrotum's not nearly as resistant, not nearly as resilient as vagina. But that's not a secret, y'all. Fellas, y'all know that. So anyway, let's assume that clip was as it was tagged. A protester at the Jordan Neely events harassed a NYPD police officer. After the violence and the chaos that we saw in those previous clips of the police fucking up Jordan Neely's vigil, you know what? That one black cop can get cussed out. Mama Lorraine, thank you so much for your super chat support, Mama Lorraine. We certainly appreciate that. Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up about this arrest? Oh, there is something else that I wanted to bring up about this arrest. So, staying on the theme of police harassment of the protesters. Gosh, I think I just went up and down Talia's Talia's timeline because she was on it. She posted this, and I don't have this up there, Will, but from a group that was associated, a group of organizers in New York that helped put together Jordan Neely's vigil. They released a statement which Talia posted to her Twitter page where they talk about the amount of harassment outside of the vigils and the protests that they have been receiving from the NYPD. And they talk about being followed by New York City Police Department officers. And they even specifically reference NYPD's Strategic Response Unit. And they spoke about being brutalized and arrested some of their activists. And the one thing that they said in this statement is that none of the members of this organization, and I apologize, I don't have the name of the org, but like I said, Talia has it on her page, or they actually might be called the Maydays, Maydays. Yes, they are called the Maydays. Yes. And at the very end of their statement, where they are describing some of their mission in organizing some of these events to bring about charges against Jordan Neely's murderer, they close out their statement by saying the Maydays are not suicidal, and we value our lives and the work that we do, and we won't stop until they stop. I thought that spoke volumes to me, that an organization or organizers will have to come out and say that they are not suicidal. Which tells me that tells us what, everybody, that they believe that their lives are in danger from the NYPD. Period. Point blank. Specifically, I suppose from the Strategic Response Unit, that were probably those jackbooted thugs that we saw fucking up the vigils. And when people start saying that, it is time to take them seriously, because there's lots of precedent, obviously, for organizers and people who support movements and are the leaders and the foot soldiers of movements in support of Black lives and Black liberation. It's not uncommon for those people to end up dead. Freedom riders were murdered. You know what I'm saying? People are vulnerable when they are in police custody. The police literally have your life in their hands, and they can do with you what they want. So again, I want to send big up to all the comrades in New York, people that just showed up to be a voice, to be a body, the people who helped to organize it, the people who did all the necessary reconnaissance to make sure that those subway stations and those train tracks could get shut down over the weekend like they did, to make sure that nobody got hurt, like until the fucking police showed up, of course. Um if it but for those actions, we would not be talking about manslaughter charges for Daniel Penny. I know that, and I believe that 100%. So we are going to continue to monitor what happens with this case. The bloodthirstiness, again, the bloodthirsty rhetoric from the right, from the white rights, is I keep coming back to it because it it's so I can't even if I were to say jarring, it would only be jarring if I'd never heard it before, right? Like how it can't continue to shock me. It cannot continue to surprise me. So I'm grasping at the wrong emotional descriptors here. But I just, you know what? Let me tell you all this real quick, and you guys are gonna think I'm on a tangent, and I'm not. I have a white uncle. Crazy. Can I even say he's crazy? He's a white uncle by marriage, okay? So obviously he married a black person in my family. Do you know what he said? And his name is Uncle Roy. White boy Roy. You know what the fuck Roy would always say? Roy would say that white people are a virus. He said that white himself. He said white folks are a virus, and it's something that the aliens produced and deposited on Earth. Because, and again, I'm not, you guys know I'm not talking about our radical white friends here who don't see black people as subhuman. You know, I'm not talking about y'all, but the wider race of Caucasians who subscribe to white supremacy specifically, it is something to matter, y'all. It is something to matter. These are people that are wholly disconnected from the rest of the humans on the planet, like in a way that is definitely unique, you know? Like, and I know, for example, when we're talking about anti-blackness pervades every corner of the earth. You know what I'm saying? All of the non-blacks are very well capable of anti-blackness, but it's something about the European descendants. I don't know. It's unusual and it's unnatural. And the fact that good white people have to be seriously deprogrammed from that fucking white supremacist shit should tell you all that you need to know. Like a lot of it is they say that racism is not ingrained, it is taught. And I think that's mostly true, I guess, actually. I do think that's mostly true, actually. I don't think white people are born racist, but I think they take to it like a duck to water. As soon as it's presented, they're like, well, this makes sense. How is it I'm able to do this with such ease? Yes. Because the whole of society is set up for the white supremacist ideology to permeate, you know what I mean? And I appreciate the anti-racist white folks that actually take intentional steps not to fucking be that way, because I know it ain't easy. Dog, I know that shit ain't easy. Ah, but it's just madness. So do us a favor, seriously. And this is an issue where I think like it's not controversial. If your white coworker want to get into a debate with you at work about Jordan Neely and did Daniel Penny have a right to defend himself? Defend himself from fucking what? How the fuck are you defending yourself when you're coming up behind somebody? So the person that you're defending yourself from has their back to you? Oh, and you still need defense? Oh, but you here to Captain Save a Hole everybody else on the train, huh? Nobody asked for that shit, Daniel. Rot inside of that jail cell, but he's not in jail. He's out on bond because he got loot. I want to know more about this person, everybody. So if there are good exposés, has heavy.com done the 5 things you need to know about Daniel Penny? If they have, send me that shit, because I'm telling you, there are probably sinister Easter eggs in this young person's past that would indicate to us that an incident like this happening with him as the focal point was probably not a surprise to people who may have known Daniel in his past. So there's that. There's that. Let me take a little break here. I'm gonna move it through Will. Will, I'm gonna tell him, Will, I don't care what you say. Will's got a date, everybody. Will's got a date. So Will said he got to push off because he got to get fresh for the ladies, So I'm gonna hurry up and get my shit together real quick. Just a reminder, Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Tomorrow, it's the Disability Chat for May. It's the Round the Fire Disability Support Sesh. I can't sing a song. That is happening tomorrow. Big up to Anna, Mama Lorraine, Learn Life Abby for continuing to put this thing together. If you are a member or a patron, you can look for that information probably first thing tomorrow morning. I'll post it up there and come on through, come hang out. What this is, if you're new to this, if you don't know what our disability support sessions are, I am a disabled person, and let me speak for myself. My disability sucks. It sucks pretty bad. So Anna, Abby, others, we've come together to form this disability support sesh where people who are experiencing and dealing with all kinds of different disabilities, we can just kind of vent and let off some steam and commiserate and learn some shit. Anna taught us some shit about, I'm sorry, it wasn't shit, Anna. But you taught us some things about service dogs on our last disabilities support sesh, and I learned quite a bit. So that was some very valuable information. So if you are disabled or disabled adjacent, or you don't have a clue about what disabled people are complaining about, come on through it and check out airing of the grievances. No, I'm just kidding. We do more than air the grievances, but happening tomorrow, Saturday, May 13th, 5 p.m. Eastern. That would be 2 p.m. Pacific, and I do not know what time in the UK. It's going to be late. It's going to be late. So please make it a point to join us. And thank you so much to Latif for purchasing some channel memberships. Latif is single-handedly growing our channel membership by leaps and bounds. So congratulations to you if you are the recipient of a Burn It Down with Kim Brown channel membership, courtesy of one of our mods, Latif. You can get some member exclusive content. Just look under the members only tab, and there you shall find it. So thank you so much to Latif. We appreciate that. What's up, Nat A? What's going on? Where's Kane and Nat? Where's Kane doing? Go pet Kane for me. Everybody who has a dog, pet your dog. I like cats too, but not as much. Cats are okay. Cats are too standoffish. What's up, Silberg? Good to see you in here. I thought you said your daughter had changed your screen name. I'm glad to see you back. Because I'm like, who the hell is giving goddess? David Silberg. Who knew? Yeah. So speaking of Eric Adams, bitch ass, let me big up real quick to the good sis Margaret Kimberly, who has a good piece in the Black Agenda report about Eric Adams. And in not so many words, she basically says he's a sucker. And she talks about Eric Adams, out of all of the esteemed members of the Black misleadership class, the Black political class, especially those that occupy the elected office of mayor, she says that Eric Adams is singularly incompetent and lacks the political skills, despite the fact that he has some political experience prior to being mayor. He was the Brooklyn Borough president and also a state senator, and how he loves to remind us that he was just the best slab of bacon, the best slab of black bacon, pepper coated bacon. Ooh, that pepper coated bacon be good though. let me not refer to Eric Adams' disgusting ass as something as scrumptious as fucking pepper coated bacon. Nigga, that nigga wish he could be pepper coated bacon. He that regular terrible, but he that Hormel bacon. I don't know. He's the worst bacon you can think of. And in a sign of the utter disrespect that a buffoon, a sellout, a coon, a pig cop, a member of the misleadership, as Eric Adam is today, he got a reminder of the disrespect that he is entitled to. And I want to big up all the people who engage in civil disobedience, especially in events or in spaces or in venues where that civil disobedience is extremely frowned upon. And at the law school commemoration at SUNY, CUNY, the College of Upstanding New Yorkers. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what SUNY stands for. The College University of New York. I don't know. Coney. Is it Coney or SUNY? Is it the hard s k or is it sh? Hold on, let me go to the chat. Help me with my phonetics here. I'm trying to be correct. Anyway, fuck it. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. At the CUNY law school commencement, I believe it was today, Eric Adams was speaking. He was a commencement speaker. At the law school of all places, right? And so while Eric Adams was giving his commencement speech, he was met with utter disrespect. A number of graduates stood and turned their backs on him. He was heckled throughout his speech. Anytime Eric Adams said something positive about Eric Adams, this nigga got booed and or told about himself. And of course, this is something I had to bring to you guys, especially on the heels of what could have been a grand boggling of the arrest of Jordan Neely's murderer, because we know Eric Adams, Kathy Hochul, and others came out talking shit about there being consequences for behavior and people are entitled to defend themselves and all this fucking bullshit, defaming and smearing the murder victim here. So anyway, in such a quick turnaround from all of these recent events in New York City, here's Eric Adams, the mayor, speaking at the commencement ceremony of the CUNY Law School. Let's take a look.
Some of them are going to craft policies on healthcare. Some of them are going to work with elected officials to determine legislation. Some of them are going to move on and even fill the role of what it is to be a public figure. Let's be clear. For 22 years of my life, I wore a bulletproof vest and protected the children and families of this city as a police officer. So I know what it is. I know what it takes to hold this city together. And we have a lot of challenges, a lot of things that it needs discipline. And just as you see these graduates here, I know what it is to protest. I protested with Amadou Diallo. I protested with Zongo. I protested as 100 Blacks in law enforcement who care. I protested to stand up for things to right. But I'm not the mayor because I know how to protest. I'm the mayor because I know how to speak on behalf of the countless number of people in this city. And my message today to the graduates, my message to those who believe that their beliefs are the only beliefs in a diversified city like New York, my message to you, instead of being a detached spectator in a full contact sport called life, get on the field and participate about improving the lives of the people of this city, something that I will continue to do and encourage the graduates to do. These are exciting times, CUNY grads. These are exciting times. And we know we can move this city forward as we deal with the issues around immigration, the issues around public safety, the issues around how do we build a better city for all. And so I look forward to the future of these graduates that are here today. And those of you who are here, sitting here, celebrating this amazing journey, I thank you. I thank you for what you have accomplished.
Wow. All right. That's enough of that bullshit. But shout out to all the hecklers, all the disruptors, everyone who stood and turned their back to Eric Adams as he tried to I guess redeem himself. Did he say he was a member of 100 Black men in law enforcement who care? It's probably only 100, right? Out of all the ends we got walking the beat out here who have volunteered to be police, yeah, it's probably out of all the thousands, I guess. I don't know how many of them niggas it is, but it's probably just 100 of them that care. So maybe their organization is appropriately named. But it's wild. Like, Eric Adams, what you mean you protested against the murder of Amadou Diallo and all of the other infamous people who were brutalized and stolen from us by the NYPD? What you mean you protested it? Did you protest it on the inside? did were you helping to facilitate investigations into your fellow officers about, I can't even say allegations because they don't be allegations. They be documented instances of police violence, police brutality, and in the case of Amadou Diallo, police murder. Amadou Diallo and so many others. Sean Bell, too many to name. Too many to name. And this notion that you can fix the system from the inside, I just really need so-called black liberals, and I guess even to some extent some black progressives, like, just disavow yourself of that. Okay, the slave catcher system is not there designed for the slaves and the descendants of formerly enslaved to be in charge, or for the law to be applied equally to white people as it is applied to black and brown people. Like, the system is never going to be that. There's no redemptive value to it whatsoever. So even if you have a mascot coon like Eric Adams himself, wants a police, and now the mayor, and he talks about all he does is back the blue and help the citizens of New York. How are you helping them exactly? By increasing the budgets for the police, by expanding the amount of powers of surveillance and detention and the suppression of protected First Amendment activities. Like, you just make it easier for them to fuck people up. How is that helping the city? How are you helping people like Jordan Neely when you are clearing encampments of unhoused people, disposing of their personal items, their personal effects? A lot of those things cannot be replaced. Speaking specifically about their papers, birth certificates, social security cards, and such. When the NYPD clears these encampments, they don't give a fuck about any of that shit. That shit that helps people to stay close or to be able to access to services. Good luck getting any of that without an ID. But the NYPD don't think about that. They don't take that level of caring about New Yorkers into consideration when they're doing that dumb shit, or when they just throwing them in Rikers as a means of addressing the unhoused problem. Oh, well, we have fewer unhoused people on the streets because we threw them on Rikers. Eric Adams is a disgrace. I mean, he's not the only disgrace. He is one of many, many disgraces. But I'm always here for the public disrespect. I'm always here for the disrespect, because civility and decorum are tools of the elite, right? They want us, the lessers, there are proper ways to protest. There's only certain accepted methods of dissent. And what is that for? That is to keep the oligarchs and the elites comfortable. They don't like to be made uncomfortable. They don't. They don't like it when you show up at their house. Check out, remember the Supreme Court justices last year after the Dobbs decision? When them white folks, I love the good rowdy whites, the leftist rowdy whites. Come on, when they showed up at Kavanaugh's house, showed up at Samuel Alito's house, woo, 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 the elite white folks did not like that shit. Mm-mm. So, and even these black elites make them all uncomfortable. Call them all the pigs and the coons. Should you feel like it, especially if it's in a space like that commencement ceremony. You know what I mean? Like, more people needed to be exposed to others' opinions of someone like Eric Adams. There is this sort of default assumption in America that most people have a respectable opinion of the police. And when the police are disrespected, sometimes it comes as a shock to others. Like, how could you be like that towards the police? They just want to protect and serve. It's like, nope. We need to disavow the entire narrative of universal police benevolence to all Americans, not just black and brown folks, but all people need to disavow themselves of that shit. See, that's where the January 6th niggas had it right. That's where they had it right. Made them cops eat that bear mace. I said, I like that. Very good. Let's take a little break. Will, I'm about to turn you loose. We're not going to make you late for your very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. What's the other thing I was going to say? Oh, don't forget, everybody. It is May. We are doing our abortion support fund. Jeez, I'm sorry I keep burping in y'all's ear. 1 second. I swear to God, I do not be burping literally all day. What's up, Carpe Diem? What's up, Schultze 100? Thank you for the people coming through. Thanks. Come on in here. Give us some likes, some thumbs up. We appreciate y'all. Be nice to Latif. He might gift you with a channel membership. So thank you so much to the folks that have come through. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, take a moment to do so. You can follow us places around the internet at BIDWKB on Instagram, on Twitch. I never know where the fuck we are at, but well, I would say Facebook, but we are temporarily disconnected from Facebook. At Burn It Down KB on Twitter. Thank you so much to Patrick S for your Cash App support, Patrick. Patrick, I know you watch us on Facebook. I'm gonna get our shit back together, Patrick. But thank you for watching anyway and supporting anyway with your Cash App donation. So the last story I want to get to, and this is one of those mixed bag stories of liberal policy that tries to start off on the surface. You're like, oh, that's good, but when you really think about it, it's like, I guess it's good. I mean, the same way that, like, if somebody come up and gave you $10, that was good, but if they came up and gave you $100, like, that'd be way better, right? And it's not like the person giving you $10 doesn't have $100 to give you. They could give you $100, but they gave you 10, and you're like, well, this 10 is nice, but you got 100 to give me, dog. I'm pretty sure that if you gave up that hundo, I'm not rinsing your pockets if you gave me that $100. And then maybe that's not the best analogy, but maybe when I get into the story, it'll make a little bit more sense. So I saw this story. If you could pop up the article there, Will, from WBEZ in that's not Boston. It's not Chicago. Yeah, of course it's Chicago, because this is where the story is based. Not Chicago per se, but based in Cook County, Illinois. So what happened in Cook County, Illinois? So they have decided to do something interesting. Cook County has partnered up with RIP Medical Debt. And what they have done is eliminated the medical debt for thousands of families residing in Cook County by paying it off. And I think, and we're going to watch a clip here that gets into some of the specific numbers about how much medical debt is being paid. So the interesting thing about this story is a couple of things. So first of all, residents of Cook County, this is something that they do not have to apply for. Residents, I don't think that they are being selected at random per se. I think there is a certain criteria. The debt has to be over X amount, and the recipients themselves may have to be below a certain income threshold. There are some particulars associated with this. But this money is being used out of the CARES Act funds distributed during the COVID pandemic by the federal government, heralded by President Joe Biden. And this is going to affect nearly 45,000 Cook County residents. They have 45,000 Cook County residents have already received letters in the mail telling them that, without even asking for it, that their medical debt has been erased. And I want us to pick up the story from the announcement at the Cook County government. Seems like a perfectly lovely white woman. I hope she's not problematic. I do not know her personally. And you guys know I cannot vouch for whites I do not know personally. Okay. So I have to know them somehow. But so anyway, I don't know. I don't know what kind of lady this is, but she was talking right. She was talking good. So fuck it, we'll let her talk good. So let's run this clip if we could, announcing this progressive piece of policy. But after we hear some of the ins and the outs and what have yous, I'm gonna tell you why this is. It's good. It's $10. It is $10, but they had $100 to give. You feel me? So anyway, I'll come back and explain my very poor analogy. Let's take a look at the clip.
We're standing today with our partners to announce the first tranche of medical debt abolishment through MDRI. Using federal funds provided by the American Rescue Plan Act and in partnership with RIP Medical Debt, Cook County has successfully acquired and erased nearly $80 million in medical debt. We've spent only a fraction of that amount, $800,000, less than $1 million, to do it. This will benefit over 72,000 Cook County families, with many more to come. I want to thank President Joe Biden, who of course initiated the American Rescue Plan Act, which brought $1 billion to Cook County. Today is not possible without those federal resources. We're proud to provide this relief to Cook County families because medical debt is a growing problem in both the United States and Cook County. Nationally, there are 100 million adults with medical debt totaling $195 billion. In Cook County alone, over 14% of households have some form of medical debt. And as is true of most issues of poverty and marginalization in this country, people of color are disproportionately impacted. Black people are 50% more likely, and Latinos 35% more likely to hold medical debt compared to white people nationally. The impacts and outcomes of these facts are clear. Medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. One more time, medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy in this country. It also leads to poor credit, which undermines employment prospects, the ability to access affordable housing, and ultimately achieve upward mobility. Medical debt also imposes psychological and physical burdens on its holders, and in many circumstances, financially vulnerable people with medical debt suffer from unnecessary stress that impacts their mental health. It's also been proven that medical debt holders often delay seeking preventative and serious medical treatment for health issues out of fear.
Out of fear that they will accumulate more medical debt. And that is some real shit. That is real shit. How many people out there don't go for either their regular exams of any kind, whether or not you're just going to see your physician or general practitioner, or if you're a woman, you don't go get your regular, lady parts maintenance checkup. They don't pop the hood. They don't crank up the tire. I always call it like a crank. What's the shit that you crank up the car with so you can change the tires? So you change tires, tire jack. That's what I feel like the speculum is. Like you gotta crank open. Got to crank open the opening so you can check that cervix, get that cervix swab. Yeah, but that shit ain't usually free. And depending on your insurance situation, or if you happen to fall in an underinsured predicament, where there's so many people that actually work out here, people that work 40 plus hours a week and still do not have access to healthcare. And relieving medical debt, which is usually so a lot of this debt, all of it, if I'm not mistaken, is hospital debt specifically, right? So I think they were working with a hospital in the Chicago area and RIP medical debt, along with Cook County, is taking the steps to do this. Now, when the sister, fuck it, she could be a sister. She kind of look like Jane Elliott. Maybe she is a sister. I don't know. When old girl thanked Joe Biden, I said, "Oh, we're thanking Joe Biden for." Okay, Joe Biden authorized the CARES Fund acts. Okay, so really, the U.S. government ain't no likely about it. They can print money whenever the fuck they feel like it. So the U.S. government can basically forgive and pay off medical debt anytime they fucking feel like it, right? This should not be a special thing done by Cook County, Illinois, or in the handful of other places that I know that that organization, RIP Medical Debt, has worked with to do similar things where they are using public funds, either state funds, municipality funds, or in this case, federal funds, to pay off the debt, the medical debt specifically of its residents. And guys, this is in part a drop in the bucket, or a slight crack in the door of what socialism possibly could look like in this country. Nobody should be accumulating any medical debt. The concept of medical debt should not even fucking exist, because medicine should be socialized and nationalized in America. Like, you shouldn't have to accumulate debt. Like, I don't even in the systems that I guess the Americans might kind of maybe a little bit aspire to, but with the NHS there in the UK and the Health Canada in Canada, like, I mean, those systems are absolutely not perfect. There's public options, and then you could go private if you got the money. But if you are on the public option, that you ain't no bills. They don't send you no fucking bills for no surgery. I know people that have had whole ass surgeries in Canada. I said, how much that shit cost? They looked at me stupid. Like, what you, how the fuck are we supposed to know how much it costs? We don't know. We will never send no bill. Madness in America, that is. So to me, a step like this taken by Cook County, it looks good, sounds good, it even is good, but it's a tease. It's inadequate. It's not enough, because all it does is give us more of an idea as to what more could actually be done. If you could forgive $80 million or pay off $80 million in medical debt, pennies on the dollar, as the woman said there, by spending less than $1,800,000. Oh, you could pay it all off then. Pay it all. Why pay some? Why only pay some people's? Pay everybody's. Same situation with this student loan debt forgiveness that Biden shittily tried to pass through. Only $10,000. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Forgive it all. Joe Biden wants to be the best Republican president in history, okay? And he is sticking to the Republican script in ways big and small. And the fact that he even did this small thing, and again, it's small, and it's I'm not torn about it, because I do think it's good, but again, I'm frustrated and angry because I know that more could be done. The money is there. This is an administration, the Biden administration, that spent a record amount on its most recent budget for the military. $750 billion, like an out, or it might have been even more than that, $800 billion, like an ungodly amount of money. Something that could forgive all of the student loan debt, all of the medical debt, and likely house every unhoused person currently in this country. America could fix its fucking problems if it wants to. But capitalism is not the system of empathy and compassion for humans. It is a system of perpetual exploitation, from the cradle literally to the grave. And the effects that medical debt can have hanging over people's heads, just the effect that debt, period, as what lady mentioned, the psychological effect that a looming, lasting debt can have. It can depress your life. It can depress your perspective and the outcomes that you see for your future. Why do we live in a system that enables that? For things pertaining to your literal life and living and breathing of breath and remaining alive and healthy. Fuck it, even as a productive member of society. Like, isn't it in even capitalism's interest to make sure that every person who is available to work can do so? And if they could, if the only reason that perhaps they're not working is because they're ill, wouldn't it make sense for capitalism to make them better? Why don't you make them better so they feel better, so they are better? If exploitation and productivity is the name of the game, fuck even capitalism doing the shit wrong. Because you would probably get more out of folks if you made sure that they were healthy. But that minimizes the profit margins of the healthcare industry. So they can't do that. They can't do that. Can't have all these people out here healthy and shit. Who gonna pay for that? It should be paid for. We pay for it. We pay enough in taxes of all kinds. Okay. Job or no, you pay taxes. You go anyway, you pay taxes on every fucking thing. Whether or not you actually pay income taxes or not, taxes are being paid. We have more than enough to provide everything for everyone who is lacking or has want in America. And the depravity of this system, this country, and all of its sinister pathologies just tell me that I gotta say, I'm rooting for America to fall down. America looks as though it's falling down all by itself. I don't even have to push it. I don't even have to stand behind it and push it. America's doing a great job of falling the fuck down all by itself. But when I see the ways that this country is content to let millions of people suffer because of the socioeconomic class that they occupy, or their race, or their gender identity, I just hate it here. I just hate it here. This is not a place for freedom. You have to be white, male, Christian, straight, and a property owner. Only those people are free. Everybody else is subservient to them. It will be forced to conform and to comply in some way. And if you are more valuable in debt, and in death, America's very content for that to be your life. And that's why we have to burn it the fuck down. Okay, guys, that's my time. Will, you got time to get in the shower? Get yourself all fresh. Get yourself all fresh to death. All right, I think I got Will out of here at an appropriate time. So let me thank everybody real quick. I goofily must have closed the window. I had the show up and now I don't. So I don't know what's going on in the chat. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, as you always do. Thank you so much for everybody's support. What's the other thing? Thank you guys for helping push Black Power Media over 25,000 subscribers. That's a BFD. That's a BFD, everybody. And let me take a moment to big up Jordan, Lewis, and the good folks over there at Status Quo. I've been looking at the reporting that they've been doing on the ground still in East Palestine. You want to talk about shitting on poor folks, shitting on lower class white folks? Ooh, the Biden administration and the CDC is playing big games with the working class whites out there in East Palestine, and they recognize it. So good for them, and I appreciate Jordan Lewis's ongoing coverage and reporting about that environmental justice issue. So a big deal there. So I want to thank everybody. Please have a safe weekend. I'm gonna be thinking about you. Yes, you. I will be. I will be thinking about you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Big Teal, for coming through. I always love to see you in here. Peace, Andrew. Thank you so much for being here. Is that Chuck Diesel? Chuck Diesel, what's up? Willie D ain't on. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you, Chuck Diesel. You know I love to see you in the spot. Per usual. Carpe diem. Thank you so much. Who else was gonna say? I forgot. But everybody, I shouted out everybody. What's up, James? Come through, James. What's up, Nawadi? Shout out to 40J Blaze. I don't know if 40J Blaze is in here, but 40J Blaze usually be in here. So thank you so much for your support. Of course, Northern Witch. Love you, DD. And of course, my girly Court and Shanette and Black Magic. All my usual all-stars. Sugar Shan. Yup. I see y'all. I was gonna say y'all black asses. I don't know how many y'all black though. There's a few. There's a few Negroes in there. I don't know which ones. What's up, Kamari? Thank you so much for being here, baby. Anyway, I'm gonna be here shouting out for the next 5 fucking minutes. Peace out, Imani Festo. Thank you for being here. Will gotta go on his date, everybody. So I'm gonna get off of here and stop being a hater. So please be safe. COVID is still out here jumping on people. I don't give a fuck what the Biden administration says. So please do all the things necessary to keep yourself safe. Mask in public indoor spaces. Wash your hands still. Keep social distances away from motherfuckers, especially motherfuckers out here coughing now, talking about, I got the flu. Bitch, you ain't got no fucking flu in May. Your ass got COVID. So let's be serious. Let us all be serious. Anywho, love you guys. See y'all later. Bye bye. Take it easy.